We didn't want it, but unfortunately, the burden of education fell upon us.
छाछ सबको समझती है, but nobody understands kombucha.
I will give you an even more healthier alternative to even a ginger ale, which is this.
So kombucha, and specifically if you look at the market which we are in right now, India, it's still coming up.
Yes.
And however, many people don't realize fermentation has been there in India for many years. घर पे अचार and those thousands of years, right? Fermentation as a process,
Right.
whether it is for storing food, making pickles, or
Yes.
any of the process.
In general.
Yeah, it's been there.
It's a part and parcel of everyday life. It's just that a lot of times, a lot of these processes, we don't name them, we don't call them. It just, they're such an integral part of our everyday life that we don't think before we do that. Like nobody says कि आज मैं दूध ferment करने वाला हूँ. Mama just says बेटा दही जमा दिया है, खा लेना. You know, it's like a everyday thing for us, so we don't even pay attention. कोई खम्मन बन रहा है, for example, या ढोकला या all of these things, जलेबी बन रही है. All of this is fermented, and we've been doing it. Nobody makes a big deal out of it कि हम कुछ ferment करने जा रहे हैं आज. It only when it comes to something like a kombucha or like a kimchi or something, because these are relatively new for our palate, and it's a new awareness for people. Although it may be thousands of years old, just because these names are a new awareness for people, unfamiliarity है, तो इसके लिए it becomes like a bigger deal कि अरे, oh, he ferments something, you know.
So that means you will have lot of difficulties in educating people. Achar समझ जाता है, right? Which is a Eastern version of achar, right? Kimchi in a way, right? This liquid which is there, छाछ सबको समझती है, but nobody understands kombucha, right? So education as part of your company, as part of your process, meaning you will be spending tons of energy, branding, marketing around this entire process.
Yes, so when we started, of course, as when we talk about it, I think the dots will connect themselves and everything. But हमने जब शुरू किया था, तो it was not about creating a brand or creating anything. We just wanted to do something that we really felt was different and something that we really enjoyed doing at that point. So it was making a lot of sense at then, and we didn't even think कि हम लोगों को educate करना पड़ेगा, because to us it came easily, and to the people around us also it came sort of easily because they didn't have to really work on it. They were talking to us, and we were the first source of information for them, and for us it was books and internet and everything else. And there was no, even today unfortunately, there's no benchmarking for the products that we do. So we are the ones who are setting the benchmarks and the high points and the low points for the products, and the variations and everything. So we are the defining authority, not just me, but like companies like us, smaller artisanal companies, and who are doing kombucha and kimchi and all of that. But we did understand that we didn't want it, but unfortunately the burden of education fell upon us. Yeah, and it's far from over. There is still a lot of work that needs to be done, and in that spirit we've done about I have lost count now over years, but in the last 4.5 or quarter to 5, almost close to 5 years, including 2 years of COVID, we've done close to 600 days and places of participation where we've been out of the house, standing somewhere, talking to people about kombucha, about ginger ale, about kimchi, about everything else that we do, about fermentation in general, workshops, corporates, farmers markets, flea events, everything. And the whole idea is that educating people.
This is where issue, we talk about India being a market where we have a lot of perceptions and a lot of thoughts about products. As an example, you took a product named ginger ale. Many people don't know it's a fermented drink in many ways, right? It's very good for your gut, but people look at it as a mixer for drinks. They will have it as a drink.
Yes.
Right? Do you see that people typecasting in India more so with these products?
No, I don't think it's typecasting really. I just think that people understand what comes to them, what has been their past experience. So for example, like we were talking, education. It is all about education. The thing is, ginger ale used to be, it stemmed out from ginger beer.
Yep.
Now, what we do is a non-alcoholic sort of a ginger beer. But if you call it beer, people think alcohol hoga, which is not the case, right? It's a very nice, refreshing beverage. There is nothing. The process of making alcohol is slightly different than what we do, so it's not the same thing. But when you say ginger ale and ginger beer, now you wanted a stable product, because ginger is and probably will be the most loved flavor across the world in all beverages. Like कोई भी beverage होगा, ginger becomes a ginger tea, ginger this, ginger that, ginger beer. Kombucha में भी ginger is one of our most popular flavors. So to make it shelf stable and to make people understand, because people like ginger beer, but not everybody wanted alcohol, right? And it also turned out to be a good mixer, because it's soda and it has ginger flavor and it goes well with a variety of drinks, especially in that time when gin was hugely popular, right?
Yeah.
I think first gin I ever heard was Bombay Sapphire, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're talking about that and you're talking about Britain, and then they have so ginger ale came from Britain. So they started, putting soda in the bottle and there's some ginger flavor, or probably at that time they actually put the ginger, but not anymore. So that's how ginger ale came about. Now when it came to India, nobody was doing ginger ale. Root beer is, the moment you say beer, people sort of step back and think, oh, is it or is it not? So education नहीं था. अब ginger ale is easily available. Store में रखा रहता है, clear है. Nobody ever talks about ginger ale में कहीं भी alcohol नहीं आता, ठीक है ना? So it just becomes easy for people. Now when I tell people, I have to say ginger ale, because that's the non-alcoholic version of a ginger beer that natural, right? It's a factory-made thing. It is not so natural, so to say. But this one is. So education का ही फर्क आ जाता है eventually. Now I have changed my narrative when I go to people. I used to say we do ginger ale, but then I understand if I keep saying ginger ale, they're like मैं ये क्यों खरीदूं, वो क्यों नहीं खरीदूं, right?
बड़े ब्रांड्स की
बड़े ब्रांड का क्यों नहीं लूं, उसका तो मार्केटिंग कितना अच्छा है, वो सब पीते हैं, वो तो ये भी है ना. प्लस उसके अलावा कि वो तो मैं फ्रिज में साल भर भी रखूंगा, क्या फ्रिज में नहीं रखूंगा तो भी साल भर खराब नहीं होगा. तो then I have to go out and as I gauge my customer, and that's why being out there and talking to my customer becomes really important, because then I can tell them यार वो जो आप पी रहे हो, that's a product, and yes there is a big market for it and you can choose to have it. But if you're actually looking for something कि आपने पढ़ा है कि ginger ale is good for health or benefit, or there is it is a healthier alternative, I will give you a even more healthier alternative to even a ginger ale, which is this. Great mixer, great drink, and actually contains ginger, which is supposed to be a super food for your digestion, right? So narrative thera pickles ke bare mein, like we were saying. So now when I tell people sauerkraut या kimchi, या people are like, kimchi तो मैंने सुना है mainland China से सुना है,
mainland China में मिलता है,
और वो walk में मिलता है. Then I have to tell them कि यार वो 2-3 दिन पहले बनाते हैं, उसमें vinegar डालते हैं, this is not vinegary, पर ये 6 महीने कैसे चलता है? So my narrative has to keep changing. So now I realize you have to associate it with a past memory, and the only way to do is when you talk about this, I told them दही होता है, दही समझते हैं ना? Exactly दही है. छाछ बनाते हैं, समझ लो छाछ की जगह हमने ये बनाया है, वो दूध से बनता है, ये चाय से बनता है, kombucha के लिए. So that pickle है, this is an oil-less pickle, right? That is how it is. और लेकिन फिर and then because oilless बोला तो फट से हमारे दिमाग में आता है oilless है तो healthy होगा, right? So you have to build on what people already have a concept. If I start breaking down all their concepts and start making new concepts for people every time I'm telling them about my product, it becomes really challenging, क्योंकि उनका belief system भी है ना, तो उनको अच्छा नहीं लगता, change is uncomfortable, right? तो उनको पहले बताना पड़ता है कि आप जो करते हो ना ये वैसा ही है. So that's why people, when we do beet kwas for example, it's a either love me or hate me beverage, but people associate so quickly with it because it's very close to kanji. And we realize कि जनता को जैसे ही कांजी बोला ना, अंकल आंटीज जो 60s 70s में हैं, जो मेरा प्रोडक्ट कभी टच भी नहीं करेंगे कि ये हम तो ये सब नहीं करते, राइट? एंड यू टेल देम कांजी, वो फट से पी लेते हैं. And they actually like it. Yesterday, a friend, one of my seniors from Merchant Navy, he was passing by in an event we were doing yesterday. उनके dad थे, and he had to literally walk with his dad. I'm assuming he must be close to 65, 70, easy 70. And uncle और कुछ समझ में नहीं आया, पर uncle को beet kwas समझ में आ गया, and he picked up a bottle. So you have to play by the rules that are there, and slightly once you are there in the market, then you can start bending them, changing them, change your narrative, and reach out to more and more people.
I hope you enjoyed this clip from my podcast series called Masters Decoded. The intention of bringing these clips to you is to allow you to understand some key moments of the conversations I've had with my guest. I would recommend and highly encourage you to listen to the entire podcast, which you can find the link to the podcast in the description below. I look forward to you subscribing to my channel and hit the bell icon so that you can be notified of all the future clips which we keep releasing every week on this channel.